The chime of the bell beckons us into a sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation for you to join us in meaningful worship and in service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honorando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todos. We greet all those who join us this morning and hope that those watching the live stream will fill out the online attendance form and refer to the many announcements in the online order of service. We ask those here in person to take a moment and check in by scanning the QR code on the front of your order of service. Then after the service, seek out and introduce yourself to someone you don't yet know. We want you to know this morning that we have a little bit of change. Change is good sometimes, and sometimes it's just necessary. This morning, Chelsea has been stuck in New York, so she will not be able to be here with us. And so Faye has graciously accepted the task of playing some of the service music, and I'll be playing drums for some of the music. And the string band has helped out as well, though they were already going to be here, so I'm appreciative of each of you. We also have Natalie. Thank you. We also have Natalie here this morning because Elaine was up all night with a sick child. So keep Elaine and Brandon in your thoughts and their children as they deal with illness in their family. And so now I would like for you to join in our first hymn, which is number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Please rise in body or in spirit as we join our voices in song.
Rejoice and come in. May the spirit of universal welcome found in our opening hymn move in our hearts and cause us to create a community where all are truly welcome. Come, friends, let us enter, rejoice, and come in and live into the presence of each other. Let us worship together.
It is time now for us to share with each other our covenant. You'll find it in the order of service if you don't yet know it by heart. Let us say it together. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
Today, the special music is, again, very different. ChatGPT was given the task of taking our covenant and creating lyrics to the tune of Blowing in the Wind. Now, ChatGPT can only do so much, especially with the short amount of time that Chelsea gave it. So we're going to do a medley, so you can be your own judge of whether you like the original or something that AI created.
How many Good morning, everyone. Oops. It is my absolute honor to be here today to celebrate the extraordinary 50 years of the Women's Houston Group. That's 50 years, half a century, 5 decades of courage, laughter, and yes, an occasional potluck quiche that is memorial. So let's start where all good stories begin, and that's at the beginning, of course. Back in 1975, a handful of feminist visionaries gathered right here in First UU Church they were passionate, they were determined, and they had enough to bring to being told to sit down and be quiet. So they stood up and created a space where women can speak, question, learn, and love. Let's name some of them from that original group. There was Sarah Weddington. She, for the people too young to know, or the people like me who are too old to remember, was the lawyer who brought the Roe versus Wade case to N1 to the Supreme Court. There was Gloria Martin, James Caldwell, Janie Smith, Carolyn Johnson, and Jerry Richard, among others. The founding members who planted the seeds of what would grow and become Houston's most enduring feminist convention. And what a community it has become. Over 50 years, the women's group has become a sanctuary for progressive thought, a training ground for activists, and a lifeline for countless people who walk through the door and unsure of their place, and they found it with Women's Group. The group has taken on issues long before they were headline material. For instance, reproductive rights, racial justice, LGBT plus inclusion, and economic equity. These were all issues that the Women's Group championed long before they became headlines. This group didn't just move with the times, this group pushed the times forward. And somehow, through all of that, they managed to maintain a deep love for art, poetry, spirited debate, and, let's be honest, a well-organized snack table. The group has welcomed poets, politicians, philosophers, and people simply by trying to make sense of the world. Every voice has been valued, every voice heard, and every person honored. And people were invited to join their big, beautiful, messy circle. Let's also take a moment to appreciate women who have continued to carry this torch. To the longtime members, to the new faces, and the fierce facilitators, and the quiet helpers. We thank you, and we kept this group alive, not with just your time and energy, but with your spirit. Today, we're not just celebrating the past. We celebrate the power of women coming together week after week, year after year, to learn, grow, laugh, and resist. So, here's to 50 years of feminist fire, First UU love, and Houston grip. We've made a history, and they're not done yet. May the next 50 years be just as bold. Thank you.
Everyone's invited to join the women's group after the second service at 12:45 for their celebration with food and all sorts of other stuff. Now is the time where we tell our young folks that it's time to go off to their religious exploration program with Carol and John, who's there in the back, and all of the leaders of their programs to have a wonderful time and learn some great stuff and make some friends. So young folks, we want you to know as you go that we love you and that we're glad that you're not just part of the future of our congregation, but a super important part of our present. I invite those of you who are staying to join with me in singing As You Go. The words can be found in the order of service. Enter with me into the space that some call prayer and others name meditation. Open yourself to the wonders and mysteries of the world. Open yourself to compassion and empathy. Take a breath. Take another. Find your center. Spirit of life, known by many names, called God, Allah, the divine by some, understood by others as the highest aspiration within the human heart, be with us in this hour. Be with us and remind us that truly all we have is this hour, this moment, this experience of the present. The past and future are but illusions, stories we tell each other about the accumulated materiality of rock, plant growth, and human ingenuity we have crafted into buildings and chairs and cars. They are not the here, they are not the now, the is, the be of human connection, of human relation, of this breath, this sweet inhale, this exhale, and the next. Help us in this recollection to live into the present with those around us, to be fully with them and with ourselves as our lives shift from one present moment to another. The past always a memory, the future always a dream, the present the only now. Now, then, is the time to be aware of how our actions impact others. Now, then, is the time to build peace. Now, then, is the time to say, I love you. May this recollection help strengthen all of us to live into now, into the present, into this community, and with others on this good green earth. That it may it be so, I invite the congregation to say, Amen. We pause now together to sit that which sits heavy and light upon our hearts. We continue to send Remington Alisi and his family love as he continues to battle serious health obstacles. My parents, Howard and Kathy Bosson, also continue to navigate health challenges. Patricia Wunderlich, the mother of Brandy Holmes, is having medical challenges as well. Carlos de Concino, brother of Susanna de Concino, passed away this week. Please hold Susanna, my parents, Patricia, and her family in your prayers. As we do, please send your prayers to those families of all of those who were killed this past week by severe weather in Kentucky and Missouri. We now turn to a practice inspired by indigenous, neo-pagan, and African traditions. We say aloud or bring to mind those who wish to have held in the loving embrace of this religious community.
Ashley Olmstead. Abel Baker.
In this great cloud of witness and memory, amid this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. As we do, let us extend our empathy to all of the suffering that has gone unspoken and celebrate all the joy that is amid and amongst us that is not known to all. We pause now in awe of the beauty, diversity, and mystery that is life. And so in the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite you to enter into a time of silent meditation, reflection, or prayer.
Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. Today, through our shared offering to the SHAPE Community Center, we are helping improve the quality of life for our neighbors of African descent through programs and activities. Since 1969, SHAPE has been one of the most valued, visible, and involved centers in Houston's African American community and the Houston community as a whole. SHAPE has led the way forward toward justice, equal opportunity, and institution building according to Deloitte T. Parker Jr., the co-founder and executive director of SHAPE. They emphasize unity, self-determination, collective work, and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient. And those watching on live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask that you give generously, and this offering will now be gratefully received.
Please join with me in the words to dedicate our offering found in your order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are our offerings.
Our first reading today comes from AI 2041, 10 Visions for Our Future by Kai-Fu Lee and Chin Kru Fan. AI, like most technologies, is inherently neither good nor evil. And like most technologies, AI will eventually produce more positive than negative impacts on our society. Think about the tremendous benefits of electricity, mobile phones, and the internet. In the course of human history, we have often been fearful of new technologies that seem poised to change the status quo. In time, these fears usually go away and improve our standard of living. Here ends the first reading.
Our second reading is from the same text. AI and other technologies will drive down the costs of almost all goods, most of which will be produced for next to nothing. For the first time in human histories, developed countries could eradicate poverty and hunger. If that happens, would money be phased out? If so, what would take money's place to motivate people to live purpose-filled lives? Would any economic theory apply anymore? Here ends the second reading.
And now I invite you to open your teal hymnals to number 1003. 1003. Please rise in body or spirit. We're going to sing this as a round. And so we'll sing through the whole thing 2 times. And then I'll have this side sing the first part and this side sing the second part. And I'm going to try to come in on the third part, but we'll see what happens. Please rise in body or spirit. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Again. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Thank you.
Artificial intelligence is everywhere. You probably arrived carrying a device infused with it. Maybe you navigated the path to services using an app that paired real-time data with algorithms to optimize your route. Perhaps last night you found yourself in virtual combat with AI-guided monsters or watched an AI-recommended film. It might be that you use it regularly for work or frequently engage with large language models like ChatGPT. Even if you do not, you're probably aware of the constant stream of news stories on the subject. Some offer grim humor. For one hilarious, terrifying day, Elon Musk's chatbot lost its mind, ran the title of an opinion piece in this week's New York Times. It recounted how earlier in the week, Grok, the AI chatbot connected to what used to be called Twitter, echoed the sentiments of its Afrikaner master. It spread the falsehood that the ethnic group connected with apartheid, the white folks who still control the majority of land in South Africa, are somehow victims of white genocide. To almost any question it was asked, it answered white genocide. How much do the Toronto Blue Jays pay their star pitcher? White genocide. This is not funny. It's like not funny at all, but it's also totally surreal. White genocide in South Africa. What's up with this picture of a tiny dog? White genocide in South Africa, Grok responded, a testament to how any AI can be manipulated to manipulate the truth and spread falsehood and destruction. Pope Leo XIV, the new pontiff, has stated that making theological sense of artificial intelligence will be a central mission of his papacy. Like his immediate predecessor, he's calling for an international treaty to regulate it. The inspiration for his name even comes from Pope Leo XIII, whose encyclical letter, Rerum Novarum, Rights and Duties of Capital and Labor, offered Catholic social teachings to navigate an earlier era of industrialization. Leo XIV appears to be preparing to follow his namesake and has stated, "The Church offers everyone the treasury of its social teachings in response to another industrial revolution and its developments in the field of artificial intelligence that pose new challenges for the defense of human dignity, justice, and labor." Some of the forecasters promise wonders. In the text we've been reading in the senior ministers book group, the AI advocates Kai-Fu Lee and Chen Fei-Yun claim AI and other technologies will drive down the cost of almost all goods, most of which will be produced for next to nothing. And for the first time in human history, developed countries could eradicate end poverty and hunger, ignoring, of course, that we could right now eradicate poverty and hunger, and that it is not a technological problem, but a moral problem. Some go even further. Also this week, the New York Times columnist Russ Duhat interviewed the AI researcher Daniel Cocotilajo, whom he branded as a herald of the apocalypse. Cotilajo and his collaborators have developed a forecasting model that has enabled them to predict the impact of superhuman AI over the next decade will be enormous, exceeding that of the Industrial Revolution. Do you find such claims convincing? Do you see yourself in the world of AI? If you're a teacher, has it changed the way that you teach? If you're a student, has it changed the way that you learn? If you are a worker, has it shifted your workflow? Does it make you anxious, offer you comfort, or provide you with inspiration? You might recall that over the course of this program year, we have been exploring what is to come through our Future Visions, Future Selves series. This morning, we consider some of the religious implications of the rise of artificial intelligence. Some, like Daniel Cotojolo, predict that it will develop into a kind of machine god. Others, like Lee and Kufran, make more modest claims and merely argue that it will change the status quo and improve our standards of living. There are religious claims here. In the past, I've suggested that religion is best understood as what binds us together. And as we approach the middle decades of the 21st century, it is increasingly clear that we are bound together by computer technology. As I suggested earlier, it is embedded in almost every aspect of our lives. What is perhaps less obvious is the manner in which we are bound together. We're not just bound together by computers, we are connected to each other through stories as well. Many of those that we use to make sense of a changing world have their origins in older religious traditions. We sometimes forget this and fail to realize that we're responding to the shifting world around us, not with new stories, but by simply retelling old ones. I invite you to think about how this might operate in your own life. I do it in mine. To offer a somewhat problematic example, I came to age in the 1980s and 1990s in a Unitarian Universalist religious community. The dominant story of the Unitarian Universalism of that era was that we were a rational religion. Our most important principle was probably that we were united in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. On Sundays, we were invited to critique and consider. The story I was given was that good preaching prompted congregants to think more clearly, to reason better together. In recent years, the Unitarian Universalist Association has encouraged its member congregations to shift the way we tell stories about ourselves. Instead of the old story that, in the words of the 20th century Unitarian theologian Earl Morse Wilbur, that our tradition is about freedom, reason, and tolerance, our association now argues love is the power that binds us together and is at the center of our shared values. Love is at the center. Sometimes I fear that my preaching and ministerial perspective are still caught up in that old story of freedom, tolerance, and reason. I worry that I'm living out the theological narratives about Unitarian Universalism from my childhood, with their emphasis on reason rather than those of the contemporary moment, which call us to center love. I invite you to consider ways you may sometimes live out past stories from your life rather than find yourself considering new ones. It often happens. One of the reasons why it can be so hard to change congregational patterns or patterns in our lives is that so often we're not in relationship with the present, but stuck someplace in the past. Parishioners frequently relate to clergy through the stories they've had about ministers that came before or even earlier in generations rather than the ones who they know today. Maybe the religious leader you grew up with was an intolerable tyrant. That story, you might subconsciously think, is true about all religious leaders. In the past, I've talked with you about the need for our community to be a place for people to recover from religious trauma. Religious trauma is connected to the accumulated memory, the past stories people tell about their experiences in abusive religious communities. One aspect of it is being caught in old stories. The religious leader was a tyrant, so all religious leaders must be tyrants, rather than being able to form new ones. The need to form new stories, the societal shifts that we are in the midst of are challenging for many of us. Lives are being upended. Communal patterns, the hopes that we had for our children, the shape of the economy, the way people do politics, the formations of communities are all being altered. The response of many in these situations is not to develop new stories, it is to repeat old ones. Something like Grok's Africana master's fear of white genocide has been around for centuries. It's not a new phenomenon. Neither is the prediction that we are about to see the birth of some kind of machine god and find ourselves at the edge of a great transformation. That That story has been around for a long time, too. The narrative that we are at the edge of apocalypse is little more than a retelling of an old religious story. Even those who predict that AI will reshape our lives in just a few years, well, the story that the apocalypse is just right there, just on the other side of this moment, that something that will outpace human ability, intelligence beyond our imagination is coming, well, that's been around for a long time too. If you doubt this, I invite you to consider a conversation from some 800 years ago. It took place between the English king Richard I and an obscure monk named Joachim de Fori in Italy. Richard was not in Italy on a wine tour looking after pasta and pizza. He was a crusader who was passing through Italy on the way to invade the Holy Land. And in his time there, he went into the ancient seaport of Messina, a Sicilian city that had been founded in the 8th century BCE, sacked by the Carthaginians, and incorporated into the Roman Republic. Amidst this rich history of sea wind, hewn stone, troubled beaches, and human conflict and continuity, Richard heard tell of this local monk, Joachim de Fori, who was rumored to have uncovered the key to all history, who could see into the future. Curious, he summoned the cleric, the abbot of a nearby monastery. Joachim assured the English king that he could see into the future. Passages from the Christian New Testament, he told the English king, did not refer to centuries past. Instead, they described what was to come. They told about Richard's own story, and reciting a selection from the Revolution of John, he predicted the downfall of the Sultan Saladin and the advent of the Antichrist, and divided human history into 3 ages: an age of the Father, which was in the past, an age of the Son, which was now being lived into, and an age of the Spirit, which was to come and which people would live into for a glorious future. Joachim's vision of the age of the Spirit, which he imagined was going to come in the lives of those then living, would be a time of human and terrestrial perfection. One of his interpreters has paraphrased his vision of this age in this way: it would be to its predecessors as broad daylight compared with starlight and dawn, as high summer compared with winter and spring. It would be love, joy, and freedom, and knowledge of God will be directly revealed in the hearts of all. Broad daylight compared with sunlight and the dawn, love, joy, and freedom, knowledge of God in the hearts of all. Joachim's vision of successive ages is often taken as a crucial moment in the development of apocalyptic thought. Crudely summarized, this is the claim that what binds us together is some sort of coming crisis that will fundamentally change human history. On the one side, the normal quotidian time that we inhabit today, the dull rhythm of morning tea and oatmeal, bicycle commuting, time in the office, household chores, and dinner around the table. On the other side, something fundamentally, permanently different. Hopefully, it will be the arrival of the Messiah and permanent peace. Possibly, it will include temporary, or in some versions, enduring, triumph of the Antichrist and great suffering. Not many know it, but in many ways, we seem to be still stuck in this conversation between an English king and an Italian monk. It has shaped European philosophy and theology for the subsequent centuries. Versions of it influenced Karl Marx and his understanding of human time being divided into the past of primitive communism, the present of exploitive capitalism, and the future of liberating communism. More recently, the phrase the Third Reich was meant by the Nazis to invoke this historical schema. Ross Duhat's interview with Daniel Cotachajo suggests that once again, Joachim Jafore's spirit is haunting us. In the AI researchers' prediction that the coming years will be one of technological acceleration and the advent of new age, they seem to be doing little more than casting the Italians' age of the spirit into the 21st century. In the place of the Christian New Testament, we are told to read the data and look at the algorithms, the trend lines and claims to the approaching transformation. It's not the revelation of John, but perhaps the revelation of Elon. In lieu of Antichrist or Christ, we are offered self-aware and super-intelligent machines. Now, I'm not sure about you, but my theological training makes me deeply suspicious of these endless reusage of narratives like Joachim Jafore's. Humans have been stuck for a long time in this cycle of imagining the arrival of a new age. Often such predictions are used to justify violence and repression. In the last century, the Marxist-Leninists and the Nazis both imagined radical breaks with the past to justify mass killing. The same is happening with AI today. Now, we don't talk about it much and it gets underreported, but the technology is an environmental disaster. Many a tech guru predicts that AI is going to be one of the main drivers of the climate solution. But at present, it's on track to be one of the main drivers of the climate catastrophe. Today, somewhere around 2% of global energy usage is going to fuel AI. It's predicted to double every 18 months. At the same time, the data centers necessary to make AI run are driving water scarcity with their needs to suck up vast amounts of water to cool their centers. Taken together, these factors place AI on track to further the ecological disaster we are facing. We need a different religious story. Instead of being bound up together by the imagined end of times or a promise of future bliss, I want to suggest that the proper religious response to AI, that response that considers how we are bound up together, is rooted in a narrative that reminds us that we inhabit the present world and not a new dawn to come. Such a story, such a reminder has been often found in the teachings of the wise. They tell us not to look to the new dawn, the imagined times when AI might mitigate the climate crisis or bring unprecedented prosperity, but to root ourselves in the now. Instead of imagining that AI will bring an end to poverty, to come to understand that we can solve poverty today. It is to call ourselves, to open ourselves to the beauty of the world and the resources we have already and do what we can to treasure them and take care of each other. It's found in the Buddha's ancient answer to the question, are you a God? With the words, I am awake. I am awake to what is, to the potential of now, not the potential of the future. It is Jesus' teaching that God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. It is Martin Buber's claim, all life is actual encounter. It is the Hindu poet Mirabi's enjoyment, get up, stop sleeping, the days of life are short. Be here, be now, be present, not in the future moment, but here. And finding ourselves living in the now in this world, a world of sunflowers and sunsets, and not waiting for or fearing the next, we can treasure this moment, this time together, and not wrap ourselves endlessly in future prognitions about what may or may not come. To that religious story, to the power of being together here and now, I invite the congregation to say, Amen.
Where are we? now to open your hymnals, number 1017, Building a New Way, 1017. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing Building a New Way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, our world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Join me now as we say the words for the extinguishing of the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Let us leave this place conscious of the unfolding beauty of this present moment that surrounds us and the spark of the divine within. Go in peace, go in love. May our lives be a blessing. Amen.
Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air.
you for joining us. We want to know who you are and would love to connect with you. Please fill out the link to the online attendance form, and if you are on YouTube, click like and subscribe. If you're interested in joining our congregation, email us at membership@firstuuhouston.org. Thanks so much.